know. Let me get a comment in the comment section for the first person that can hear me. Um, Once again, let me get a comment in the comment section for the first person that can hear me. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Let's do our intros. Oh damn! Oh no! Oh no! I'm gonna get stuck behind the stream of traffic. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. Oh, look at you! 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 Yep. Yeah. But yeah, so traffic, y'all, traffic coming out the complex. We all trying to come to complex so that we could beat the traffic, and we all got stuck anyway. Anyway, y'all. So this is going, and I was thinking about this last night, but I didn't get a chance to put it up. But let's go through, and I really want to do, because this is, it's more of a millennial conversation, but Xers and boomers and even Gen Z, if y'all remember some of these songs or know what songs I am referring to, y'all can definitely give the names or add on. Oh yeah, like I said, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Super chats will be read out loud. Um, yeah, so Misandry, the music, right? And I was thinking about this yesterday. I was listening to Tony Braxton, Let It Flow, and then I just started thinking to myself, and I've said this before on different channels, namely the Roger Reports channel, just the Misandry music that was in the 90s. So like, we get on hip hop, we get on rappers, we get on, like, Kim from Fort Harriet had a video from a little while ago speaking about, oh, the boys have to grow up, or the R&B boys have to grow up, or something like that. She put that out maybe a couple months ago now, or a month ago now, and like, just saying, like, like, there's no evolution, there's no growth. And I'm like, well, the ladies are still making the same type of misandrous music they've been making for like 30 years now. What are you talking about? Right? Number one. Number two, misandry is like the theme. I mean, we could go through it from "Can You Pay My Bills" to "No Scrubs" to, he wasn't man enough for me. I mean, like, and you had men writing these songs, right? Women singing the hell out of these songs, and men like Babyface writing these misandrous theme songs that, for those of us that are millennials and maybe even Gen Z, our mothers, this was like the theme of their, like, adulthood. Like, this was their theme, right? Think about listening to Men Ain't Ish music with your son in the car, right? I'm not saying, like, first of all, we've already said that these men aren't fathers, so it's gonna be difficult for people to make the argument that these men are listening to, Bees Ain't Ish music with their daughters in the car, because you said these men ain't fathers anyway. So have fun trying to square that peg. But yeah, right. So Misandry the soundtrack, right? Misandry the music, right? And for those of you that's just getting in, we are talking, like the title says, Misandry the music, and definitely shout out to Spain Man, shout out to Demetrius. Spain Man, you can help me with this, but bro, we going through all the misandrous R&B music from the 90s, right? And shout out to you, Sir Anthony. Thank you for the super chat. Trell Bentley and Spain Man in here at the same time. Oh, this is gonna be too easy. Y'all could just start listing them. When I get to a stoplight, I will try to read them. Y'all could just start listing all the misandrous music from the 90s, like, from men and women, but namely the women. And yes, we know the men were writing the songs for the women. I'm looking at you, Babyface. Right? Like I said, everything from No Bills to, no, Can You Pay My Bills, to Not Man Enough for Me, to No Scrubs, to all of that, right? And like if you were a millennial like me, your mothers were playing this music, this Men Ain't Ish music, with you in the car. and the shit sounded fire. That's the thing. Like, I think that's what captured you. So when I was listening to Let It Flow from Tony Braxton last night, which helped to inspire this video, I was thinking, like, that song was in Waiting to Excel, wasn't it? And so it made me think about being a 20-something or 30-something-year-old black woman watching Waiting to Excel in the 90s, and like, you feel that music, right? So you had the begging ass men of R&B, the placating ass dudes, like the simp anthems coming from the men, and you know, and I'm thinking about the was it the Avant joint? Maybe I deserve, which is essentially him saying I deserve you cheating on me. Um, but so you had that, even though that song I think came out in the early aughts, but you have that type of music from the '90s from the men, the R&B at least. Hip hop obviously was doing something a bit different. Um, but then from the women, you had men ain't ish. So you had the men begging, and then the women saying you ain't ish, right? And like the music was really good, and the production was really good, and it was so heartfelt, and like so I could see how you could get caught up in that, like even as a man, right? Like making the simp music. So you could imagine as a woman eating that, right? Just listening to simp, like not simp, yes, listening to simp music from the men, and then listening to these men ain't ish music from the women over great production and soulful sauntry voices, right? And the run, right? The it's usually the last like 2 minutes of a song that's really theatrical, and it's really like that, like the last 2 minutes of R&B music in the '90s was everything. Right? The climax of the song was everything. That's when they would run. That's when everything, right? And you listen to that, and like you get why at least the women my age are the way they are, because it's a little piece. It's a piece again of a puzzle. It's not everything. I'm not saying that we need to be sympathetic towards them if you don't want to be. I'm not telling passport bros don't go overseas. I'm not telling the SYSB brothers not to. I'm not about policing men's penis. But I am saying this is another puzzle of why Gen Z and millennial women, and maybe even younger Xer women, act the way they do, because they grew up listening to music where the men were begging them and telling them it's all my fault as a man, and then the women were telling them, can you pay my bills? The women were saying this to the women were singing this, and then you wonder why you get daughters that are like, wait a minute, so you're not going to worship at the altar of me? Oh, call Tyrone, thank you. Thank you. No one, thank you. Right? Exactly. Right? All of that. When a woman's fed up, all that R. Kelly joy. And when a woman's fed up, yo, that song hits. Especially the end when he's like da 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 da. Like that song hits, bro. That song hits. And you wonder why, right? Women under the age of like 45 act the way they do. They especially like from about 45 to like maybe 25, because like I know Gen Z are not listening to that, but their parents may have been listening to that. Their exer parents, their exer mothers were listening to that when they were kids, right? So you're listening to it, and like you grew up listening to those type of songs. And then not only that, even the music, like if some of us, like your parents would divulge that to you because they knew, or you would hear it from a older sibling or whoever, like knowing that even the songs that the women were singing were written by men. So it almost puts it in the air of like the men are so messed up that they're writing simp music for themselves, and then they're writing music for the women that say, yeah, it's all your fault and you suck, right? And you just got up, like it definitely happened in the '90s. And for all of my extra brothers, I know y'all were listening to that stuff in the '80s. I know that there were this music existed in the '80s, but the '90s, they perfected the music in the '90s in a way I don't think we fully appreciate. And then you got to remember, this was the soundtrack to so many movies that women would watch. So you got the optics, and then you got the optics, and then you have the sound, right? And it's just hitting women in their feels, right? Mike Tysoning their feels. Right? And so you wonder, it's just once again another puzzle piece. Jesus Christ, could you drive any slower? I'm sorry, y'all. Oh, you're the worst. No wonder you got like a little whatever. Oh God, and you drive completely straight up in the seat. Okay, yeah, let me get away from you because everyone that was in front of us is gone now. Yeah. So yeah, yo. So it's crazy. It's crazy, right? And I'm just thinking about that. Like I said, it was inspired because I wanted to hear Toni Braxton's voice, right? I always thought she had a very sultry, like sexy voice. And when I was younger, I thought she was very pretty. So I wanted to hear her voice, and so I just went down my rabbit hole of Toni Braxton, and like the first song I wanted to hear was "Let It Flow," and so, looked it up, listened to it, and like it hit me again, like, bruh. Alexa, play the dude saying, bruh, please, bruh. Like, I'm like, wait a minute. This is a leave that nigga song. Let It Flow is a nigga song. Wait a minute. And it really hit me, like all the freaking misandrous music. And then black women got the unmitigated gall, the gumption, the temerity, the audacity to talk about rap music and hip hop music being sexist and misogynistic and crass, in the 90s. Y'all were listening to freaking Let It Flow, and y'all had whole movies dedicated to this type of stuff. You can say what you want to say. We didn't have whole movies dedicated to Negroes playing women. We didn't have the Waiting to Excel version of movies in the 90s that got played in like major theaters, and all of our fathers knew about, like from beginning to end. Y'all had Waiting to Excel, which all of our mothers saw, and they knew every song, and the songs were fire. Right? Y'all still trying to beat up on us from, excuse my language, bitches ain't shit. Y'all still trying to beat up on us for that song from 30 years ago. Meanwhile, brothers don't even beat y'all up. What we mentioned, TLC with No Scrubs, every once in a blue moon we'll mention that. When are we mentioning all the other sexist ass songs y'all had from the 90s? Right? And excuse my background, I'm on the expressway right now, so it's a little loud. Right? And I might even do a part 2 to this later also, because we're going to flesh out these songs. We're going to compile a list. And that list is going to be a goddamn scroll. It's gonna unfurl. It's not even going to be just one paper front and back. And we just gave you one decade. A decade in a year. We're going to go from 90 to 2000. So 11 years. We're not even going to do the 80s or the early aughts because it would be as long as I-95 if we did that. If we gave y'all 3 decades. Right? All the sexism on wax. Y'all talking about our sexism on wax. And then white people over here putting the thumb on the scales for y'all and being like, yeah, y'all hip-hop music, especially in the 90s, is so sexist. What was R&B music in the 90s? But niggas ain't shit on slow beats with great production. Begging ass everybody. You have voice men talking about on bended knee and all of that. Boyz II Men literally talking about, yeah, you cheated on me, but I still want you. And it was a fire song. That was a fire song. Great production, great feels, great song. Cuckold ass song. That was a cuckold song if I ever. They went around the planet performing this cuckold ass song. Fire. Don't be the only one saying it. Those songs are absolute fire, and they sexist and misandrist as hell. Right? We can admit it. We can admit it. Right? You literally got a vaunt talking about maybe I deserve because his wife just came from being with the dude, being with one of her ex-boyfriends or something like that, probably leaking him. Yeah, I just went there with it. Mr. Z doesn't have to use profanity to be crass, y'all. Mr. Z doesn't have to use profanity, right? I could paint the picture without the profanity, right? Probably left Probably at the crib leaking the other dude, telling Avant, yeah, I cheated on you. Wait, it's not Avant. It's not Avant. It's not Avant. Why keep on saying Avant? It's a Tank. Why I said Avant? I'm sorry, y'all. Sorry, Avant. Sorry. Wrong person. Skirt. Wait a minute. I'm saying Avant, not Avant. Tank. Tank is the one who had the song Maybe I Deserve. I am so sorry, Avant. My apologies. And yesterday, well, not yesterday, a couple days ago, Lala, and I slipped up and said Iverson's ex-wife, and I meant Carmelo Anthony's ex-wife. I'm sorry, y'all. So for whoever remember that, I said Iverson, and definitely not Iverson's ex-wife, Carmelo Anthony's ex-wife. I don't follow basketball anyway, and I think y'all know that, so maybe that's why y'all get passed on that. Yeah. But yeah, sorry Avant, sorry Tank. It is Tank's song. Either way, the message is Misandry, the music. Right? Once again, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Misandry on wax. Oh man. Wow. And these are like some good songs. These are fire songs. These are the type of songs we tend to listen to with our lady in the car. Shout out to PK Angel. PK Angel is like, I don't listen to no R&B. I don't get it, right? And it's like the soulfulness. It's you know, it's, these songs are fire. They were made with great production. You do get in your feels about it. Yeah, but to say they're not Sandra's, oh, that would be a lie out of hell. It would be a lie to say these songs aren't dripping with misandry. Ugh. And sexism and niggas ain't ish, and much of this music was written by men. It was men writing this music for other black men and black women. Right? Toni Braxton had nothing but writers, and it was men. Right? I'm looking at you, Babyface. I'm looking at you, R. Kelly. Right? What, Changing Faces, Get Out? That wasn't that R. Kelly that wrote that? So y'all could ban R. Kelly music, the stuff that he's saying. Y'all, if y'all ban R. Kelly, y'all better hope Babyface don't ever get caught up in anything. Because if y'all ban R. Kelly and Babyface, y'all damn near banned everything written or sung in the 90s. Seriously. Y'all better hope Babyface don't get caught up in anything. Because if y'all ban him too, that's all the R&B from the 90s. Because them two niggas was writing everything. Singing and writing everything. All right. Misandry on wax. Everybody talking about the rappers in the 90s and the 80s and the early aughts and up to today. Oh, the sexism, and I can't listen. You got Grapevine. You got Ashley Okuna talking about, oh, I can't listen to, or I don't listen to hip hop music anymore. It's too sexist. I bet you still listening to that R&B from the 90s though, Ashley. I can't listen to that music. But hey, man, I'm telling y'all, I'm not letting these women rest. Their hypocrisy, I'm not letting them rest. I'm on y'all ass. And for some of y'all are really cute, maybe on y'all ass in a different way. But, right? I'm on y'all ass. All y'all hypocrisy, y'all got to run the board with y'all. White daddy, black men are making this sexist music called hip hop. They're calling us all type of bitches and hoes on hip hop. Meanwhile, R&B music is nothing, especially in the 80s and 90s, is nothing but men ain't ish. And everybody act like they didn't hear it. Right? Everybody acted like they didn't hear it. Yeah, you black men and your sexist music and look how you talk about your women and da 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 da. Did you hear what the women were making? You ain't hear what the women were making? What the women were singing? With the veins popping out their neck singing? Right? Half of the songs on their albums is these bees ain't ish. I mean, these niggas ain't ish. Right? And we're supposed to ignore that for this feminist agenda? Well, we did. And now you're here and your daughters don't even know how to connect with boys and men. We talk about your socially awkward sons. Ain't nobody say anything about these socially awkward girls and women who grew up listening to this, who grew up with their mothers and fathers and uncles and aunts and grandparents and everybody in society saying, yeah, men are supposed to kiss your rear end. I laugh when women, black women of anybody, especially as millennials, y'all are full of crap. Black women out of anybody saying, we were raised to cater to men. Who? Which one of y'all was raised to cater to men? Oh, wait, a couple of men told you not to be as harsh as y'all are to black boys? And you think that's them telling you not to cater to men? I mean, excuse me, to cater to men? A couple of your aunts caught you and your cousins, them talking crazy about the boys in your school, and they told you, yeah, y'all maybe want to chill out, and that's y'all being told to cater to men? To cater to black boys and black men? No. All through the 90s was, can you pay my bills? Say my name. You got women saying, say my name. Huh? Destiny's Child talking about say my name. Right? TLC talking about no scrubs. And now those girls that were listening to that are now grown women, can't connect to a man worth a damn, talking about, we were y'all are black male identified. We were raised to cater to we were raised to cater to you. Get out of here. What, am I not a millennial also? Huh? That's why I said I'm on their ass. Ain't no excuses. Y'all ever heard the tape of OJ when he walked in looking for his stuff? Right? It's the juice. It's Mr. Z. I didn't walk in the door. It's Mr. Z. Forehead and all. Right? Because these women have been allowed to pretend like it's just black men just walk into the black community every day after work. I don't know how we have a job, because I thought that was one of the complaints. Every day after work, we walk into the black community just backhanding black women, black LGBTQ, our children, and then we punch them in the face, eat our food, walk out and go cheat and blow our money on Jordans and like our side chick. Like, it's some weird narratives that don't even make any sense, because they don't even actually align with each other, right? But somehow we're sexist, misogynist pigs. Meanwhile, your daughters grew up with a steady diet of misandrous music. They're still making misandrous music. Shout out to Summer Walker, right? And SZA and all the rest of them. Right? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat, y'all. Yeah. So we grew up with that. Trell Billy said the end of the road. Exactly. Beyonce's irreplaceable. That was an early art song, though. But yeah. To the left, to the left. She said to the left, to the left. I can have another you in a minute. As a matter of fact, he'll be here in a minute. And who wrote that song, y'all? Neo. I just found that out from y'all a couple years ago. I didn't even know Neo wrote that song. And it makes sense, right? Misandrous music left and right. All through the 90s, and everybody's being up there on their sons. Right? Indigo Flow said Dirty Mac and anthems and all that. Exactly. Exactly. Right? You deserve better. Aaron Hall ass music. Trell Bentley. That's another early art song, Trell Bentley. The Jaheim put that woman first. Yeah. Yeah. Put that woman first. Coming home late from work, right? You better, he said, you better put that woman first. Right? And these women act like that music didn't have, well, okay, let me get this right. So The misogynist songs, hip hop and rap songs, have an effect on the boys and the men and how they think. But the misandrist songs don't have an effect. Give me a second, you guys. Talk amongst yourselves. Give me 1 second. Yes, I was getting food, and no, it was not Popeyes. Oh man. Oh, but yeah, y'all. So once again, like, share, subscribe. Where was I going? I don't want to lose my train of thought, but I think it's gone. Oh man, what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Oh, let me see. The brother. Shout out to Big Kev. Big Kev says, "Black men made some of the greatest love ballads of all time between 1950 to 2010." I 100% agree with that. Intersectional feminists are complete hypocrites claiming we're misogynists. Bruh, thank you. We made some of the most, like, we turned begging for vagina into an art form, not just musically, right? We turned saying I'm here for you into an art form. We didn't find me all the women writing music for men. Go ahead. We were writing music for us and for them. We turned begging for the vagina into an art form. We turned saying I'm here for you into an art form. We turned leave that nigga I'm better into an art form. We turned I know you cheat on me, I'm still here into an art form. Babyface said I'll pay your rent and made it sound good to even men. Babyface wrote Not Your Superwoman for Karen White and made it sound good. Made it sound good that a woman is married to a goddamn cop who almost lost his life and she worried about whatever insecurity crap she got going on in the house. Yes, that was part of the music video. And made it sound good to even men. Straight men. We turned Baby I Care for You into an art form. There would be no John B or Justin Timberlake after NSYNC if it wasn't for black men. There would be no what's his name that was married to the fine light skinned sister but then got caught up y'all know who I'm talking about, right? There would be no white boy soul if it wasn't for black men. There would be no soul of America if it wasn't for black men. Give me a second, y'all. I'll pause. Give me a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Robin Thicke. Yes, Robin Thicke. Thank you. Give me a second, y'all. Sleeping in my bed. Jesus Christ. Shout out to you, Namer. I looked down and Namer hit me with the sleeping in my bed, and that was a fire song. And then they made a remix to it. Right? Yeah, they made a remix. They made a remix to "Sleeping in My Bed." Though "Sleeping in My Bed" was "She Cheated on Me" on Wax, and it was a fire song. That was a radio song, and it was huge. And black women got the unmitigated gall, the gumption, the temerity. I could do this all day, everyone. The audacity to talk to white daddy. Look how they're making music about us, and then over intellectualize their stupidity all over academia, talking about, oh, look at the type of music that our sons listen to. No wonder they're sexist. No wonder they're this. No wonder they're that. All negative. Meanwhile, your daughters have been deep throating all of this music for decades, and you wonder why they can't connect to a man worth a damn, because they think men are supposed to kiss their rear ends because they've been listening to Kiss My Rear End music since they were born. Right? Chris says, All in My Grill. All in My Grill was a fire song. That was a fire. What was that? That was Missy. Who sang the hook again? It wasn't just Missy. Was that Tweet or was that Little Mo? Right? And then Big Boy did the end, the rap part, right? The hip hop part. That was a fire song. That beat was fire. Right? Oh, it's Nicole Ray. Okay. Thank you, Indigo Flow. Right? We're not taking away from these people talent. The songwriters were fire. Misandrous as hell, but fire. The singers were absolutely talented as hell. Missy is super talented. I think she definitely need to get her props before she eventually passed, or however long that is. But Missy, rap, sing, eclectic, right? That All in My Grill was a fire song. Misandrous as hell, right? We're not taking away from these artists and their talent. They were talented. They are talented, right? But the men that are writing these songs know the women want to hear songs about how men ain't ish. And the women know exactly where to put it. And then the movie producers know exactly, the white and black writers and movie producers know exactly where to put this music in a movie. They know exactly where to put this music in a movie. Like I said, for those of you that didn't hear me earlier, I was saying that this video is largely inspired by me listening to Toni Braxton last night, Let It Flow, and me thinking about, wait a minute, wasn't that song in Waiting to Exhale? And then me thinking about some of the conversations me, Roger, and Black Uru have had about this type of music, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, like, this is Misandry on Wax. And no one, we've had university lectures and seminars about hip hop. We've talked about hip hop ad nauseum. And whenever you watch some of these videos where they're speaking about hip hop, they always mention the drug dealing aspect, the underground, economy aspect. They always talk about the misogyny and sexism and all of that, right? The neoliberalism, the black men pining for white masculinity, they keep all of that. Ain't nobody say anything about R&B music, especially over the past 30 or some odd years, and just the sexism, just the anti-black man misandry all over R&B music. Right? Oh, neighbor, I mentioned that already. The Toni Braxton, he wasn't man enough for me. Oh, I already mentioned that. Right? Like I said, I'm on these women's ass. All these grapevine type women, right? Who over intellectualize hip hop music. Look, y'all were listening to this type of music and it's so sexist. And what are y'all, not even what were y'all listening to, what are y'all still listening to? What are y'all still listening to? I remember actually saying that. I don't listen to, I don't like listening to that kind of music in the car and yeah, it's catchy, but I don't listen to that. Meanwhile, y'all listen to every single R&B song that's niggas ain't shit though, right? All these black men ain't ish music. All these black men ain't ish music. Why? Because y'all are not rapping it, y'all are singing it. That makes it classy, right? That makes it okay. That makes it above board. Right? Because it doesn't have deep bass to it. And by the way, some R&B music does have deep bass to it. Because it doesn't have deep bass. Were Destiny's Child even yet? Say My Name, Say My Name. Were they even adults yet? You got little kids talking. In other words, you have teenagers saying, say my name, say my name. I don't even know if they were adults yet when they said that. Right? And you have women now from 45 to maybe mid 20s who grew up with that type of music, and then they wonder why they can't connect to a man for anything in the world. Because you had all these begging ass black men, right? Black men ain't ish black women. The music videos were almost always in some dope backdrop in some McMansion, if not a full-on mansion, with a black man. I mean, like the Cisco joint, right? When he went independent, he over here falling in the grass and rolling in the grass and stuff, right? Without You, Girl. What was Incomplete? Incomplete. I think that's the name of the song, right? And your daughters are watching that music, expecting everyday average men to be this rich and to act like this for women. And then you wonder why your daughters ain't married. Right? You wonder why your daughters ain't married, bro. If you don't drive, bro, these niggas don't drive. Look at the gap. Look at the gap. No enthusiasm. So there's one of the lights that I have to pass to go to work. Train tracks, train tracks, train tracks, train tracks. There's one of the lights that I have to pass to go to work, and it's literally green for like maybe 10, 11 seconds. And like, people be like moseying along with the light. Like no enthusiasm whatsoever. I'll be ready to go because obviously I'm not only thinking about me, I'm thinking about maybe the cars behind me. We could all, it's like, this is one of the times when I'm like really inspirational. I'm like, we could all make it. Right? If we all cared about the other people around us, we could all make this light. Right? What the Hatter Soul said, Z, that Khalees first album, especially, oh, I didn't know. I didn't listen to her whole album. I didn't know. Yeah. But it was, man, that's all it was in the 90s, man. And the 90s in particular, like I said to the Boomer brothers and the Extra brothers, I know y'all had y'all music back in y'all day too, but the 90s was just a different level of misandry music, and it was good. It was good. The production was good. The writing was good. The music videos were fire. Right? All of that music was fire. But it was sexist as hell. Anti-black man is hell. It was the waiting to excel. Like, the entire 90s was just waiting to excel. Shout out to Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. So, I mean, the 80s and the 90s was just waiting to excel the entire 2 decades. You could argue the early aughts too, but I'm going to leave that. Right? Just song after song after song after song of Black men ain't ish, right? Sang by talented singers. And then if you put that in a movie, you put Let It Flow in a movie for Xer women and boomer women to go see in the 90s, and the movie is nothing but black men either being on the DL, being Tyrone, literally, right? Bro, I'm telling you, these people don't look. Jesus Christ. Man. Oh, and it's a sister. Of course it is. Of course it is. She won't even look at her rearview mirror, but she know I'm looking. She could feel me look. I'm looking in her side view mirror right now. Right? Why do y'all even buy these SUVs? Y'all don't know how to drive them. Y'all just want to sit a little bit above. Meanwhile, I like sports cars. I like to be as close to the ground as humanly possible, unless it's flooding, and it's always raining and flooding in South Florida. Anyway, I digress. But shout out to A.L. Evans. Yeah. Right? Unless I'm driving a lifted truck, of course. That's the whole point of having a lifted truck. Misandry on wax. Misandry the music. That often gets ignored when we talk about this kind of black men making music, air quotes, making sexist music, making misogynistic music, right? And this is why so many young men act and think the way they do when it comes to women. Making colorist music. How many movies are we going to have to see of the dark-skinned brother being, air quotes, toxic, and the light-skinned brother come and save the day? Y'all want to talk about colorism. Man, if y'all don't get out of here with y'all hypocrisy, Tyler Perry already got y'all card. Right? Tyler Perry already got y'all card. Y'all are that predictable, ladies. The dark-skinned brother, the brown-skinned brother is some toxic monster coming in the door, beating up on his girlfriend or his wife, probably touching the daughters, touching up on the kids. And then the light-skinned brother just comes and saves the day. I'm looking at you, Shamar Moore, with the wavy hair. Spain Manson, wish he driving an Altima. No, she wasn't driving an Altima. She was driving like a more recent Highlander. A nice one. It was clean. It was clean. Nice one. With the stock lip kit that Toyota puts on them. It was clean. It was clean. She just didn't know how to pay attention to the lights though. Or the road for that matter. Right? So all we have is just Misandry song after Misandry song all through the 80s, the 90s, Jesus Christ, the early aughts. But R&B now isn't what it used to be. They're not doing the numbers the same, so it's not the same. As it should. Like black men ain't making that much begging ass music anymore. Clearly, there's no more juice in that orange, and there's no reason for us to make that type of music or write that type of music, because why? The women aren't responding to it the same. The men have been left. It's like the church. The men have been left, and the women are slowly starting to trickle out too. Right? J-Rock, we mentioned that already. Irreplaceable. That's the song that you're looking for. The Beyonce to the Left song. Yeah. And that was the early aughts. And Beyonce looked good in that music video. To me, that is the prettiest I've ever seen Beyonce look, is in that Replaceable video. Right? So you got this pretty ass light-skinned sister talking about how replaceable you are, to a nice beat with the guitar going off and everything. That song had minimal like music production under it. Beyonce kind of carried the song. It wasn't too heavily produced. And literally she's telling you how replaceable you are, and how she can have another you in a minute. That song harkened back to the 90s if I ever heard it. You must not know about me. I can have another you in a minute. and Neo wrote that song. Come on. Oh, Trell Bentley, all the single ladies, Jesus Christ. And you're married. You're married to Jay-Z, talking about all the single ladies. You're married. That's why I told y'all, like, these people have no shame. Paris Milan break. You got Paris Milan out here talking to y'all crazy about men, and she engaged apparently. They have no shame, man. They'll keep y'all single and make money off of your single miserable ass. Right? Oh, don't worry about it. I can't remember your name. I don't want to say it on the video. Anyway, a brother emailed me asking me to review a video that Chrissy put up a few days ago. I looked it up before he even I saw it before he even sent me the email, but where Chrissy's kind of interviewing, I guess, women that actually ended up marrying dudes with money, and it's not just swirlers or divestors, it's other sisters that married a black dude also that has money. So it's like, I guess, luxury dating that turned into luxury marriage. Yeah, Detroit. Yeah, she said she's gonna switch up. Paris Milan did say she's gonna switch up her channel. So like I said before, she made all this money y'all gave her the seed money off of y'all misery, and she about to switch it up on y'all. And yeah, she's still gonna be making men ain't ish content, but more her channel. And I think she has another channel that's gonna go into the luxury thing, right? No one said no, Destiny's Child. That was their first like big song with Wyclef, right? And that song was good. I was in middle school when that song came out. That's my favorite song from them still. Right? That was a great song. Like, y'all notice I could give it up. These songs were fire songs. Talking about men ain't ish though. Great writers, great production, great music videos. The sets with fire. When they had hip hop on them, the rappers came through, did their thing, and everybody's saying how you ain't ish. Or she should leave you for the next dude. Or she should just leave you, period. Or you need to get your ish together. Right? What the How to Soul said, men envision housekeeper 90s songs, say no more. Say no more. Oh, thanks for the super chat, brother. Oh, I saw Black Uru in here earlier. I don't know if he's still in here, but we were talking about this before. These were some, I want like for our brothers that were grown as hell, like the Black Urus. What were y'all thinking in the 90s when y'all were hearing this? Because I know y'all were maybe a little bit used to it because of the 80s, but like in the 90s, it was turbocharged. What were y'all thinking hearing this? Like, this is what y'all wives were listening to, or at least your wives' friends, or for some of y'all that weren't married yet, your girlfriends and your girlfriends' friends. And this is like, if you got in their car, this is what they were listening to, right? And singing along with, right? The men ain't ish R&B music. And thumping it too. Listening to it loud as hell. And if some of them had young kids, they had their sons. You want to know why some of your sons is limp wrist as hell? Their son, and some of their sons are Thought and Themis, right? Because they had their sons listening to this. Right? 3LW, thank you, Jay Loke. 3LW. 3LW weren't grown when they made that type of music. They were young as hell. They were barely teenagers. Y'all had little girls talking about how men ain't ish. Right? Yeah, understanding, escape, exactly. Trell Bentley, exactly. Detroit says, guess what? I think Cynthia G is gonna switch up also in a few years. I wouldn't be surprised. They got their seed money to go off and do other things, right? All of them got their seed money to do it. It is the classic tale of your seed money is in the hood in black communities, and then when you make enough, you move on to bigger and better things. These women's seed money was enraging black women for 5, 6, 7 years, right? Because Chrissy was on pretty much before any of them, and Chrissy's been on YouTube for what, about 7 years now, 6, 7 years maybe, something like that. It's been more than 5 years, hasn't it? So they all got their little seed money from enraging black women. They came in the door on the pro-black stuff because that's where the money was. Then they switched it up as the algorithm switched up to being anti-black. They switched to being anti-black, and they took their subscribers with them. They got all this money off of that, especially over the past 4 years. And now they're trying to move on to luxury stuff, which is funny. I will give Kim from For Harriet this. It is very interesting hearing, and she didn't necessarily say this. I'm going to add some of my own stuff to what she said, but it is interesting hearing black women in particular, the poorest amongst Americans, if not Latina women. I think they jockey back and forth with Latina women and indigenous women. They all don't got no money. But it's funny hearing black women scream from the mountaintops, no dusties, no struggle of luxury dating, luxury this, right? Black women in luxury, as they're among the poorest group of people in America, right? And like Chris Rock said, like there is some muhaha evil ass Mr. Burns white man in the background of this, some hyper capitalist black white man in the background of this. But these YouTube personalities, these social media content creators, they're doing the bidding of these men, so I still hold them responsible for gassing these women. And I think that's where you get some of the schizophrenia. I could tie that to the 90s R&B music also. That's where you get some of the schizophrenia, because look at the scenery in much of the music videos for these songs, right? This is how you get schizophrenic black girls and women. This is how you get this. This is how you get them not understanding money. On top of women being bad with money anyway, but this is how you get it even worse. Because they've watched nothing but commercial music videos, television shows, right? Now social media content creators just hit them upside the head with luxury this, luxury that, luxury this, luxury that, right? And that's not the life they're living. That's not the life that their male counterparts for the most part are living. Sucks, right? Ain't nobody telling them the truth, right? Jasmine Sullivan, J-Lo said, and Spain Man said, like, and Trell Bentley, yeah, wasn't that the "I'll bust your windows out your car"? Who sang that? That was in the early aughts. Was that Jasmine Sullivan? All right. Shout out to Kareen, the sister Kareen in here. Kareen, okay, we got a woman in here. Kareen, I'm about to put you on the spot a little bit, right? Kareen, okay, Trell Bentley. So it was Jasmine Sullivan that sang that song. Okay, Kareen, we're talking. Well, you can see from the title, we're talking about all the misandrous music from mainly the 90s, right? Because that's when it really got its legs under it. Yes, there was some in the 70s and definitely in the 80s, right? But like the 90s is like the heyday for like, can you pay my bills? No scrubs. He wasn't man enough for me type music. Do any of do any of the women kind of around our age ever talk about that? Do they ever reflect on like the type of music they consume? Because they still listen to that music. Shit, I still listen to that music, right? Do they ever think about like what how this is like have an effect on how they see relationships in men when you have in oh my god, I don't want to start naming the artists because and the groups because it's going to take forever. But when you have all these begging music from everybody from Boys to Men to Drew Hill to Jodeci, right? All of them. Next, I'm not gonna start because it's just gonna go on forever. And then you had the women on the other side from Destiny's Child to TLC to name it, Escape, name them, right? Um, all of them saying men ain't ish, right? Or like you didn't show up for me this way. So the women are saying I should leave you. You didn't show up for me this way. And yes, they had a couple of songs singing to men. And then the men are begging. Like, what did that create? Oh, God, the Key Sweats. Oh, God, Trell Bentley, Jesus. Right? You had that. Like, what do the women ever talk about what that created in them? Do they ever reflect on what that created in them? Right? Oh, Baby Mama Fantasia that came out in the early aughts. And she said, and the song she said it should be a badge of honor to be a baby mama. Jesus. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about, J Log. Right? Kareen says, well, I'm Caribbean, so my friends and I listen to mostly Caribbean music. So soca and dancehall, R&B music was love music for me and my friends. I mean, I think that's what it was for a lot of us, right? And we thought some of this song music. Oh wait, Kareen, you just gave me a thought. We thought this was love music. This was baby making music. Men, I just had another thought. We were having sex to men ain't ish music. We were setting the mood right with men ain't ish music, y'all. Our parents, for those of us millennials, our parents, I mean, not millennials, I'm sorry, Gen Z, your parents were setting the mood right. If you were born in the late 90s, mid 90s, well, because Gen Z started, what, 97, 96 or something like that? So if you were born 97, 98, 99, 2000, your parents, your father was setting the mood right. Your parents were having sex to men ain't ish music. And we thought of that as love music. Right? You're the product of men ain't ish music. Right? Jeez. This is how we get to where we are. Right? So I'll truly pause right here. Thanks a lot, you guys, for being here with me. I'm thinking about doing a part two, and we could go down the list of songs, right? We could go down, and that, oh boy, that's gonna be a scroll. That's gonna be for 90s though. I really want to focus on the 90s because that's the decade I know the most. Number one, and number two, it's not just because that's the decade I know the most, but I think the 90s R&B music in particular hit in a way I don't think it did in the 80s, and I think it continued in the early aughts, but it didn't have the same magic as the 90s R&B music did. Right? Kareen said, there's an article that even Putin wanted, I think you mean Boyz II Men. Yeah, yeah, Boyz II Men. Boyz II Men to come to Russia so his population can start having babies. Look it up. Okay, I will. Indigo Flow said, please do a part two. He put some money on it. Y'all put some money on it, and I'll do a part two. I was going to do a part two anyway. I ain't going to extort y'all. Extort? You're trying to extort me? For all of you that watch Top Shotters. He did not say extort. He said escort. Escort, you're trying to, bruh. That was a great movie. Not the remix one, the new one that they put out a few years ago. No, the original Top Shotters with Wyclef. The original Top Shotters was a great movie. It was horribly produced, but it was still that was a great movie. Yeah, man. I mean, it is baby making music. That's like I said earlier, the talent We put talent. All right, racist society, you're not gonna let us become scientists and doctors and dope ass attorneys in great number. All right, we're gonna put our talents and our knowledge and our work ethic into singing, into rapping, into dancing, into sports. And in the 90s, you just gotta, and let's be honest, also Nixon's capitalism really hit in the let me repeat that because I'm saying it wrong. I want to put it in the context for y'all. Nixon telling his people, yes, I know 70s Nixon, yes, well 60s, 70s Nixon, late 60s, telling his people sell them on capitalism. He means sell black people on capitalism and sell them on positive stories. That's how you get many of the black celebrities in the 70s and the 80s, but in the 90s, it hit in a different way. 20 years out, it hit in a different way, right? So that's where you get all of this talent, plus, you know, Bill Clinton kind of continuing that Nixon policy of like, yeah, we're going to just show all these black people killing it, even if black people are like poor as crap and living in squalor. So that mixed with the actual legitimate talent of these people being redirected to entertainment, and you get R&B and hip hop music like that still to this day, 20 plus, almost 30 years later. No, not even almost. Depending on the year, 30 years later, right? We're still like harkening back. Plus, like Tone Talk says all the time, you get the Telecom Act, and now these people are like stuck with us, right? So this is why you get R&B singers being able to go around the planet, and we're still like bumping their music like it just came out yesterday. We're talking about music that's 30 years old, you guys. 25 years old, you guys, and we're listening to it like it just came out. Even our young people are still listening to it, not like it just came out, but they're harkening back and nostalgic to a music that was out before they were even born. Right? D. Scott says, fun fact, at 40, never seen Shatas. Oh, you never seen Top Shatas? Bruh, like I said, the production isn't going to be all that. But the story and like the action, and it's funny, and you got Mad Max, and you got the Marley son, and you got Wyclef, and it's a fun movie. It's a fun summer flick type movie, right? It's a fun movie. Yeah. It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. Right? I'm not gonna say it's the Jamaican version of the Brazilian joint. Was City of God? Was it City of God, y'all? Right? Because I've watched both of those movies maybe like twice, but I haven't watched either one of them in over a decade. Right? All right, thank you, Damon. Damon said yes, yeah. City of God. Okay, yeah, City of God. I watched both of them when I was in high school, right? And I think the most recent time I watched either one of them was at least 15 years ago. So over a decade ago. D. Scott said, I've seen it, just smoked too damn much. It reminded me of City of God. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. Right. But City of God was way more. I need to watch because I think he went back to see what happened to some of the actors in City of God and to kind of give some of the story. But it was on Netflix years ago. I don't know if it's still on Netflix. Not City of God, but like what would you call it? Not City of God remix. What would that be like? City of God Part 2, I guess. It was on Netflix years ago because I remember seeing the thumbnail. At least I think I remember seeing the thumbnail, but I never clicked it to watch it. But I want to. Yeah. Kareen, shout out. Kareen says, thank you for the super chat, Kareen. My Caribbean sister. Kareen says, 70s were so soulful and 90s were the remix, Ribbon in the Sky, for our love, all-time favorite song. Thank you. I'm not going to say this. Boy, this is going to sound sacrilegious to y'all. I remember speaking to a young lady years ago. This is like a decade ago. And she told me she did not rate Stevie Wonder. She didn't think he actually had a good singing voice. And I was like, you're on crack. I was like, you don't rate Stevie? She said she thinks people give Stevie sympathy because he's blind. I'm like, what drugs are you on? What? Right? She said she didn't think Stevie was all that. I was like, nah. Stevie don't get no sympathy love. Stevie's actually a great artist. Right? So yeah, you guys. So I pulled up to work. Let me go and make this money. Um, right? By keeping your local facilities clean and nice and keeping people from doing crazy stuff at your public parks, right? Thank you. Entire albums of songs. Exactly. You could put Stevie albums on and just let them play. Just let them play. You're not skipping anything. Just let them play. Right? Okay, so thank you, Namer. Namer says it was a documentary on the cast and the crew 10 years after the film's release. Thank you, Namer. Yeah, yeah. So that's what because I remember clicking the thumbnail to read, the little description. I remember, okay, so yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I never watched it. And I'm like mad at myself for not watching it yet. It's been on Netflix for like forever. It's not even something they recently put on. Because I remember seeing that thumbnail forever ago. Right? So yeah, you guys, thanks for sharing this time. Okay, Indigo, I will do a part 2. If not tonight, definitely by tomorrow. Um, and y'all get y'all song list ready. 90s R&B music, everyone. I know some of us are gonna try to slip in with 80s, right, or early aughts. I really want to focus on 90s R&B music because I think for my age cohort, for some of the brothers, the younger Xers that listen to me, some of the Xers and boomers that listen to me, definitely the Gen Z that listen to me, the 90s we can all kind of coalesce. It's not too far out where we'll start not knowing the artists or not knowing the song names. The 90s is a nice kind of central point for all of us to really remember the songs and the names of the artists, and even the names of some of the writers. Like I said, I'm looking at you, R. Kelly and Babyface, but y'all was writing all these goddamn niggas ain't ish music in the 90s, right? So yeah, you guys. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Kareem. Please send me that article. I'll add that to some of the conversation because I wouldn't be surprised. Low key, Kareen, I wouldn't be surprised. Not even low key, because remember, there's a lot of countries struggling, especially across Northern Europe, Eastern Europe. There's a lot of countries struggling with their population. I wouldn't be surprised if other world leaders had similar plans to Putin about like bringing R&B artists out and stuff like that to their country to kind of inspire the young people to to get their groove on. I'll say it like that. Yep. Yep. Indigo Flow says Babyface and R. Kelly ruled the 90s. Exactly. They did. That R&B music was absolute fire. Look, y'all ain't gonna keep me out here. Got things to do. Right? To Jam and Lewis. Shout out to Jam and Lewis. Yeah, but okay, so we will go through the list of writers, singers, producers, I guess also. Y'all might know a little bit more about that than me, but I know more obviously the songs and the artists, and some of the writers. But yeah, so it's gonna be good for y'all to tell me, because it was Kareen and Charles that put me on game that Neo's the one that wrote Irreplaceable. Because Kareen was in the comments I think Kareen is the one that told me. Yeah, Kareen was in Kareen. That was like over a year ago, right? That was like damn near a year and a half ago when Kareen put me on game that Neo was the one that wrote Irreplaceable. So, yeah. All right, you guys. I will talk to y'all later. I will pause right here. Y'all go and have a rest of y'all day. Be productive, and listen to some R&B music. These Negroes ain't ish music. And we'll pause right there, and y'all have a good rest of y'all day. Love, peace, and chicken grease. All right, y'all. Mr. Z out.